exchange traded funds, or ETFs as they are fondly called. By the end of this video, you know why ETFs are one of the best ways to invest in African commodities, why they are a must-have on your portfolio, what ETFs to consider, and how best to invest in them. Keep watching. All the resources needed for digitalization are found in Africa. Yes, you heard me right, Africa. From lithium for electric car batteries to cobalt for cell phones and computers, not leaving out uranium for nuclear energy, and so many other rare minerals are all found in Africa. As we speak, the global economy is more dependent on African resources than ever before, and many people seem not to be paying attention. But not you, because you have us. That's why there's a current scramble for Africa. But the million-dollar question is, how do you position yourself to benefit from these resources? Well, keep watching and we'll show you how. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Sylvia. I've spent the last decade helping foreign companies expand into African markets. And after all these years, the continent never ceases to amaze me. Africa represents the youngest continent demographically and includes 6 of the fastest growing economies in the world right now. Many investors still overlook the African market. But this is not such a bad thing because it's an opportunity for smart investors like you and me. But before we dive into how to invest in African ETF, let's quickly take a look at why ETFs on the continent deserve to be on your portfolio. The first and most obvious reason is for the purpose of diversification. African markets often move independently from Western markets, which means the Western market could be down and crashing. Markets in the US, in Asia and Europe could be down, but Africa will be trending up. Africa generally does not move parallel with markets across the world. This provides a truly diversified portfolio, which is something that is greatly needed in this difficult economic world we are. Secondly, there's a huge growth potential and awesome upside to African stocks that is not found anywhere else in the world. Several African countries are primed and predicted to grow at a rate of about 5 to 6% in the next coming years. This outpaces most developed markets by a huge margin. The continent holds at least 30% of the world's natural reserves, a significant deposit of oil and gas, as well as rare minerals, and most of these resources are yet to be exploited. If that's not reason enough, then I don't know what is. Thirdly, Africa has the youngest population in the world with a median age of 19. This does not only create a massive workforce, but also creates an immense consumer base. In addition, ETFs solve a lot of traditional problems investors face. Challenges like currency conversions, market access, security selections, among others. When investing in ETFs, these are no longer an issue to worry about. Of course, the opportunities on the continent come with a lot of risk, from political instability in certain regions to currency fluctuations and market volatility. But ETFs are the best way to mitigate all these risks. Though they don't eliminate them entirely, they are your best bet yet. If you are finding this video valuable, please support us by liking and subscribing for more videos like this. So let's get to the juicy bit. How do you invest in African ETF? Well, your first step is to choose and set up an account with the right brokerage. For most investors, online brokers offer the best combination of accessibility, low fees, and learning tools. So that's the route we recommend. These are some of the top brokers in the market you can consider. Number 1 is Fidelity. Fidelity is a great all-around option when it comes to African ETFs. You can invest with 0 commission fees, and they have great resources and research tools. The next brokerage you should be looking at closely is Charles Schwab. It has a very strong international focus, and it also helps with learning tools. The platform is also very easy to use. Next on your radar should be Interactive Brokers. This company has an advanced platform with a wide selection of international investments covering the major stock exchange markets in Africa. Lastly but not the least, you have TD Ameritrade. This is a robust investment platform with a very friendly user interface. Do not hesitate to check these brokers out. With most of these brokerages, open an account is pretty straightforward. You'll be asked to choose an account type, and typically, as a private investor, you want to get an individual brokerage account. You can complete the entire application process within minutes. You can fund your account through bank transfer or credit cards. and start buying stocks within 1 to 3 business days depending on the company. And here's a tip: if you already have a brokerage account in the US, chances are you could most likely use it already to purchase African ETFs without having to switch to a new account. These brokerages are out to make things as simple as possible for their users, so most likely they can let you trade internationally without too much of a hassle. Most of these brokers will allow you invest any amount, but I recommend you start with $500 upwards for maximum impact. If you need someone to hold your hand, or you want guidance establishing this, or you come across any difficulties during this process, do not hesitate to reach out to us by clicking on the link in the description below. We'll be happy to help. Now here's the fun part. You are probably wondering, what ETFs should I be buying? Well, we've got you covered. But let's look at your major options. The number one ETF you want to consider is the VanEck Africa Index with the acronym AFK. The VanEck exposes you to a multitude of stocks across several African stock exchanges. They have approximately 70 holdings across Africa with an expense ratio of about 0.79%. Top countries in the VanEck include South Africa, Morocco, Egypt, and a few frontier markets on the continent like Nigeria. It covers sectors like financial services, minerals, telecommunications, and in there you have companies like MTN and a few other smaller companies across the continent. The VanEck is a basket of golden eggs you don't want to overlook. The next ETF you want to keep an eye on is the iShares MSCI South African ETF. It goes by the acronym EZA. This ETF focuses mostly on South Africa, which is the largest stock exchange market on the continent. It's the most developed and the most reliable in Africa. It has approximately 40 holdings with an expense ratio of about 0.57%. It covers top sectors like mining, consumer goods, and financial services. And in there, you could find companies like ShopRite. Our third ETF to consider is the Global X MSCI Nigeria ETF, abbreviated NGE. This exposes you to the Nigerian market, which is the largest economy on the continent. The Global X ETF has approximately 20 holdings across the Nigerian Stock Exchange with an expense ratio of about 0.89%, with top sectors like the financial sector, consumer goods, and raw materials. A few companies found in this ETF are GT Bank Nigeria and Dangote Cement. The fourth ETF that should be on your radar also comes from South Africa. It is the Franklin FTSE South Africa ETF, abbreviated FLZA. This ETF is very low cost. That's the beauty of it, and it's the cheapest way to get into the South African market. It has approximately 40 holdings with an expense ratio of about 0.19%, which is the lowest across the continent. When analyzing these ETFs, there are certain key metrics you should be focusing on. They are geographic exposure. That means where on the continent is the ETF mostly located. Next, you should also look at the expense ratio. The lower, the better, because this will determine the fees and the impact it has on your return. You should also check out liquidity. What's the average trading volume daily? The larger, the better, because it provides some sort of stability. Another thing to consider is the historical performance. I know when investing, they say past performance does not guarantee future results, but just for context, it's necessary to look at how the market performed over the last 10 years, for example. It gives you an idea of what to expect, and it shows you how the ETF navigated previous market situations. You can check out our free guide on how to invest in African stocks by clicking on the link below. It details everything you need to know about the African stock market and how to make the most of your investment. After setting up an ETF account and deciding on the ETFs to buy, your next step is to have an investment strategy. Don't just jump in and buy the first ETF that comes to mind. You have to time your market entry. Think about positioning, sizing, which means you have to develop an investment strategy. There are mostly two ways you can go about this. You can decide on a lump sum investment. That is, if you have $1,000, you look for when the market is down and you deploy your $1,000 into the market. Or on the other hand, you can decide to dollar cost average, which in my opinion is the best way to enter into the market. This means if you have $1,000 to deploy into an ETF, you can break it down into 5 parts, for example, and you invest $200 every time until you get to $1,000. That way, you don't need to time an entry, but you get an average of both up and down trends, which puts you in a better position no matter which way the market goes. In Africa, I would recommend you dollar cost average over a certain period of months, anywhere from 2 to 6 months, to get the best entry. And since we are not traders on this platform, we recommend an investment strategy that is long-term. This means anywhere from 2 to 10 years investment, because there's one thing you can be certain is that the African market is going to grow. There's no doubt about that. All the signs you see every day across the world are pointing to the fact that the market is primed for exponential growth. So there's no way you lose if you leave your money in the market for, let's say, the next 5 years. You're bound to win. Check out our free masterclass down below, where we walk you through all you need to know about investing in Africa this year. If you are interested in starting a business or expanding your business, or even African stocks, feel free to watch our masterclass. There's a lot of value in there for those looking to invest into the continent, and it's free. Another tip, if you are willing to be successful on the African continent when it comes to stocks, is to make sure you always keep your money either in US dollars, in euros, or in pounds until when you want to deploy it into the market. Don't convert your currencies until you want to buy ETF, because African currencies could be very volatile. So make sure you keep your money stable by using a more established currency until the moment you want to buy into a specific market. Also, when taking profits, make sure you're keeping your profits in these currencies instead of the volatile African currencies to maximize your gains. Another thing you should bear in mind when investing in it is that you may be required to pay taxes when taking out profits, especially if you're in the US, where capital gains tax is a thing. So you don't want to overlook that. And we'll recommend you always find a way to track your ETF benchmarks. Don't just leave them in the wild. Make sure you have a way or a system of tracking them. We could help you with that. African ETFs represent an exciting opportunity to diversify your portfolio while gaining exposure to some of the world's fastest growing economies, even as a beginner. But remember that patience is essential when investing in frontier markets. The most successful investors in these markets maintain discipline through market cycles and resist the urge to react to short-term volatility. I hope this guide has given you the confidence you need to consider investing in African stocks, because they are an opportunity many people are not even aware of. Adding African ETFs to your portfolio could be a game changer. If you found this video helpful, then you like this video where I share a sample of my African portfolio. Check it out and see you on the